I'm Peter Singleton. I'm a representative of Bay Area citizens. We are an all-volunteer California nonprofit organization. We support and protect the interests of the citizens of California in matters including land use regulation, property rights, local community control, and the environment.
This is the beginning of a grassroots movement to bring back local control to our small towns and our neighborhood communities.
The agencies here, ABAG and MTC, approved a plan which has dozens of environmental impacts, and they kept telling the public that it was required by state law, and that's simply not true. And this suit challenges the misleading of the public on that basis.
Plan Bay Area replaces the voice of the people with the voice of unelected regional bureaucrats who mandate high-density development quotas that crush local control, and we cannot allow that to continue.
The people asked for greenhouse gas reductions in AB 32, and they confirmed that through an initiative process. They did not ask to have their lives completely re-engineered, micromanaged, and circumscribed. They did not ask to have their housing choices restricted. They did not ask to have their sense of mobility restricted.
Once people really know what the impact of this plan is going to be, they would not support it. And there would be such a large public outcry against it that there would be no way that they could pass the plan.
This case is ultimately a precedent-setting case. It's not just about the trial court, it's about litigating the case to the appellate courts to establish an important precedent. And that precedent is that whatever anybody thinks about high-density, stack and pack land use development, it should be presented to the people freely and fairly and not sold on an improper basis, meaning we're told by the agencies that it's either this way or no way at all. This is the only option available to the Bay Area. And we believe that as a matter of law, that's flat out wrong.
It's really a fallacy to say that there's any local control in this. The only local control that the city councils have is to approve what the regional people are telling them to approve. If they say no, they lose their funding. If they say no, they can be subject to lawsuits. So it's really a very bad deal all around.
This is an issue that goes across the political spectrum, whether people consider themselves more liberally minded or more conservatively minded. They're all concerned about the loss of local control and having their choices removed.
They're dictating to us how people should live and work, and then we're just supposed to respond to that and roll over like sheeple.
This concentration and this restriction under the guise of greenhouse gas reductions. The idea is that if you shrink people's lives and reduce their ability to move where they want and when they want, then they will use less energy and generate fewer greenhouse gases.
It won't provide cleaner air, and it won't provide jobs, and it won't provide affordable housing. What this is a way to take taxpayers' money for the benefit of developers.
On the other side, advocating for Plan Bay Area is a vast ecosystem of paid operatives who are funded to advance these plans.
So their strategy has been to keep the information on the plan really limited to select groups of stakeholders that have a vested interest in seeing the plan approved.
Should the plan, according to as presented by the government, be accepted because it conforms to the statute, or should the decision to implement the plan accord with reality, which should be based upon the technological improvements that are going to be occurring naturally?
But the problem is that this is a regional plan. It's being forced on the cities, so it's a one-size-fits-all plan. There's no opportunity for a local community to say, we don't want that type of housing, or we don't want that here, or we want to remain more of a rural or suburban community.
Almost none of the people who will be so drastically and dramatically impacted by this even know that it exists, what's happening to them.
And I want to encourage everyone to get involved in this movement. It's an important movement. It's probably one of the best ways to maintain local control and the right and the voice of the people.
We will evaluate where we stand once the trial court issues its final ruling, but we've always anticipated that this litigation may not end in trial court. Even more importantly, our ultimate court is not now and has never been the court of law. It is the court of public opinion.